Hi guys, so today I'm going to tell you how to install MySQL on Windows 11. So first of all, open your favorite browser and search for MySQL and click on the first link which you get, which is www.mysql.com. On the MySQL homepage, click on Downloads and then scroll down to find this option, MySQL Community GPL Downloads, and click on this. Once you click on it, you'll get several community downloads. Click on MySQL Community Server and this gets you to the page for MySQL Community Server download. Here you get the option to select the version that you would want to install. So right now the latest version is 9.1.0, so we'll select that. You can also select the operating system. So we would like to install this on Microsoft Windows, so we select Microsoft Windows. Then there are three options for the installers. You have an MSI installer, a zip archive, and a zip archive debug binaries and test suite. So we are going to use the MSI installer over here and we are going to click on downloads. It's 118 megabytes, so it should be done pretty quickly. You have to wait for the download to complete. Before that, Oracle will encourage you to create an account over here, but for now we'll just select no thanks, just start my download. You can create a folder like MySQL Community Server inside your downloads directory and keep the default name and click on save to start the download. So once the download is complete, you can click on the download button over here and click on the downloaded file over here. This is going to start the MySQL Server 9.1 setup. Let's minimize the browser. On the welcome screen, just click on next. Then if you agree and accept with all these terms and conditions, click the I accept the terms in the license agreement checkbox and then you can click next again. Now it asks you to choose the setup type. There are three options: typical, custom and complete. We are going to select the complete option because this will install all the programs and features and provide us with all the tools that we need for all our MySQL Server work. So let's click on complete over here and then you need to click on the install button to start the installation. That requires you to approve the installation, and for this I click yes over here. Wait for the installation to complete. Once the installation is completed, it will tell you that it has completed the MySQL Server Setup Wizard and there's a checkbox for running the MySQL configurator. So keep this selected and click on finish. Now you get a user account control message to allow starting the configurator. So for this we will click on yes. Now this will launch the MySQL configurator with the welcome screen, and this will help you configure several options for MySQL installation. So let's click on next. Now this is the data directory for MySQL Server. So if you have any reason to change this, you can change it. Otherwise you can let it be the default over here and click on next. Now for the server, you need to select the type and the networking settings. So we will select configuration type as development computer because we're going to use this as a development computer. And for connectivity, we are going to leave the default port options over here and the X protocol port option as well. So which is port number 3306 and X protocol port 33060. And then we are going to click on next. Now you need to set up the accounts and roles. There are two settings over here. One is to set the root account password and the other is to set specific user accounts. So for the root account password, we need to enter the password and repeat it over here. So let me enter a password over here. I have entered a pretty basic password over here. You can make it strong by putting combinations of letters, numbers, upper and lower case, special characters, etc. Then we can add MySQL user accounts. To do that, we can click on add user over here and we can provide a username. For host, let it be the default. For role, you can select what role you want the user to have I will select DB admin. You have other options like backup admin, DB designer, DB manager, etc. Each of which have their own rights and authorization. So I am going to select DB admin over here and enter a password for the user. Again, I have entered a pretty basic password over here. You can select a strong password for yourself and click on OK. And this is going to add the username over here with the user role over here. Once you have set up all your users and the root account password, you can click on next. Let the default options be selected for Windows service. The Windows service name will be MySQL 9.1 and click on next. For server file permissions, again I will let the default option be, which will allow MySQL to update the file permissions over here. I'll again click on next. MySQL provides some sample databases which you can actually create while doing the installation. So I'm going to check both the boxes, which is to create the Sakila database and create the world database over here. After that, you can again click on next. Now these are all the configuration steps based on the options we have selected before, and now we just need to click on execute to execute each of these steps one by one. The tick mark over here shows that these steps have been executed successfully, and currently the system is running the step with the blue arrow. Alright, so wait for it to be complete, and once it is complete you will get a message like this, that the configuration of MySQL Server 9.1.0 was successful, and we'll click next to continue. If there's any reason you wish to copy the log to the clipboard, you can click on copy log to check the logs related to the installation, but for now we'll just click on finish. Okay, now we are going to run MySQL Server. So you can go to the search bar and type MySQL and you'll get MySQL command line client over here. Let's open this. It will ask you for a password, and this is the same root password that you set while installing MySQL. So I am going to enter that password and then press enter. When you do that, it gives you the MySQL prompt over here. You can type /h for help, which will show you all the MySQL commands that are available to run over here. Now I can type the command show databases, end it with a semicolon and press enter. And this is going to show me all the databases that are present by default in MySQL. So you have the world and the Sakila sample databases that you had included during the installation, and there are some other schema and other databases as well. You can create a database by typing create database, and let's call it sample DB, end it with a semicolon and press enter. And now we can see show databases again, and this is going to show the new database over here, which is sample DB that has now been created. You can type /r and press enter to see that there is a connection ID and the current database is none. You can type use sample DB to use this database, and then again type /r, and now you see that the connection ID is 16 and the current database in use is sample DB. You can also run other MySQL commands over here to create new databases, create tables, add rows to the tables, etc. So this is how you can connect to MySQL Server and using the root account access MySQL Server on the command line. Now we can also use a graphical interface for managing all our databases and tables, which is a GUI, graphical user interface based tool, instead of this command line. So for that you can again go down to the browser, search for MySQL again and click on the first link, www.mysql.com. On this page go to downloads and then scroll down to MySQL Community GPL downloads and click on this. This time we are going to select the MySQL Workbench option over here. Click on this. On the MySQL Workbench download page, select your operating system. So we are going to select Microsoft Windows and then choose a download option. So we have only one option over here, which is the Windows x86 64-bit MSI installer. So click on download over here. Again, Oracle will encourage you to make an account, but for now I'll just click no thanks, just start my download. Create a folder in your downloads directory for MySQL Workbench and download the file there. Click on save to download it. This will start your download and it's 41.9 megabytes, so it should be done pretty quickly. Once the file download is complete for MySQL Workbench, click on the file to start the installer. Let's minimize the browser window from here. So this is going to start the MySQL Workbench setup wizard. On the welcome screen, click next. Leave the default installation directory unless you have some reason to change this, and click on next. This will ask you to choose a particular setup type. I will choose complete as I want to install all programs and features. If you have certain custom features to install, you can click on custom. Otherwise, just click on next with the complete selection. On the ready to install the program, click on install. This will give you a user account control screen to allow the installation. Click on yes. Wait for a few seconds for the installation to complete. Once the installation is complete, you will get the wizard completed screen. Leave the option to launch MySQL Workbench now as selected and click on finish, and this is going to launch the workbench for you. On launching MySQL Workbench, you get the welcome screen which shows up like this. There is a MySQL connection to your local instance MySQL server that is running, and it basically logs in with the root account on localhost with the port 3306, which we have seen during installation. So you can click this to start that. So you can click this to connect to MySQL Server and enter your root password over here. We'll enter the same root password that we set during installation. You can select the option to save the password in Vault so that you are not required to enter it again and again, and click on OK. Now MySQL Workbench gives you a connection warning that MySQL Workbench is developed and tested for MySQL Server versions 5.6, 7 and 8. We have used the latest version, so we will just click continue anyway and try it out. Now this has loaded your local instance for your MySQL Server. You have a navigator tab over here which is right now set to administration, and you have all the administration options for your database like management. So you can click on server status, and this is going to show you the server status for your local server. And similarly, you have other options for instance management and performance management. We also have a schemas tab over here which we can click and see all the databases and schemas that we have created. So you have the Sakila and the world database that was present by default, and this is the new database that we had created as a sample DB over here. Let's close the administration server status window. Now this is where you can write queries to basically load data and add data or make some calculations or modifications to your databases. Let's select the world database and expand it by clicking on the arrow over here. Then let's expand tables, and then let's expand the city table. On the city table, let's right click and run the select rows query over here. So this is going to create the query select star from world.city and load 1000 rows from that. The output of the query will be available in the result grid over here. So you can see that it has listed the cities up to 1000 rows in this table over here, and you have the ID, name, country code, district and population. So this is just one table, and you can actually then work with multiple tables in this particular database. There's also a output tab over here where you can see the commands that you have run and the status for that, and what is the duration that it has run for. And for the selected table over here, you have the information over here which shows the columns and their types. So this is basically an overview of MySQL Workbench and how you can actually set it up and work with your databases using a graphical user interface on your Windows 11 computer. Note that we have used the root account. You can also set up with other user accounts to manage different levels of authorization. As the root account comes with root privileges, it can lead to unnecessary actions like deletion, etc. of the tables, which we should try to avoid, and use user accounts with specific access for specific purposes only. Thanks a lot for watching. Please do like and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you next time.